My name's Rob Campbell. I'm working at Landmark Gelton on the west coast of WA. I've been with Landmark for nearly 3 years now as a senior agronomist. I was previously working with the opposition company before that for about 2.5 years. My background was farming. We sold out in 2011 and fell into this agronomy role, which has been a really good challenge and very positive. A typical day for me as a agronomist. Obviously come into work. First thing I normally do is go and have a chat with the merchandise sales guys, the manager, and definitely the on-road sales guys, just to see what they're up to and who they've seen. Organise clients to go and visit. Obviously throughout the season there's busy times when I'm in the paddock, and this time of year is generally paddock plans, soil testing, so I was probably spending more time in the office. With paddock plans, basically at the start of the year we sit down with the client and work out a sort of a paddock plan for the year in terms of fertiliser and chemical inputs and different rotations with different crops. The main crops that we grow in this area are wheat, lupins, canola and a bit of barley. There are small areas of pulses grown, chickpeas and field peas. As we head into January, February, March period, as I said, paddock planning, soil testing, we also get into pre-season crop updates where we generally go to field days if we have the opportunity to present at field days with some of our trial data that we've done from the previous year. It's a good method of getting this information out there. As we head into sort of that April, May, June, July period, becomes more of an in-paddock scenario depending on break of the season. We become quite busy with in-paddock recommendations. We've sort of gone from a manual sort of form to electronic form. We utilise the AgWeld program. So basically we can be in paddock discussing options with the grower, and then we can put it into electronic form and email it to the grower. So he's got a hard copy of it, and we can also email that back to the branch to let them know what products and quantities the grower may need. As the crops start to ripen, we sort of get into more field day season again. During that period we have a few field walks just to look at different scenarios in paddocks, different trials. We also have our main field day, which is a main site, tech site, which we organise. We have input into this at the start of the year to see what trials or what new products we've got. With the nutritional side of things, with the Loveland being part of Landmark Network, we're trialling different products coming through with sort of varied results, some positive and some not so good, but we're just trying to work our way through the products and see what works in our environment. So it's a good method of putting this information out there and letting growers having a look at it and see what it does. As we head into sort of harvest, things sort of quieten down a little bit. It's generally jumping on headers and I guess looking at the results from the year's work with the yield results and quality. It's generally catching up, having a chat with growers on headers and to see how things are going and probably discussing things for the next budget year, just to see what worked and what didn't work. So with the clients, we try to work in partnership with them. We've probably got the same goal to achieve economic and financial returns for the grower, and I see it as we're in partnership with them to try and achieve those goals. With clients in terms of embracing new technology, with Landmark and Loveland products, we have some growers that are quite receptive to new technology and they're quite willing to try new products. We did have a return on investment scheme this year where the growers brought some trial product and Landmark had the setup where there's no increase in yield, return on investment, the grower was repaid the cost of the product. And this has worked quite well. We ended up with probably 8 to 10 trials, broad acre trials, so they're probably 50 hectare trials across the region, and these have worked quite well. Some trials we've had positive results with, and some other trials sort of, there's no positive result or a little bit behind. So we've just found it's a good way. The clients have some sort of insurance. It's not all cost to them, and we can see Landmark sort of backing the product and trying to help the client and sort of utilise new technology and new products, and hopefully it gives them some advantage in terms of yield and economic return. The value we put on our agronomy service with the experienced staff we have here, I think it's of high quality. It's always difficult to explain that to clients somehow, but when we get the opportunity to sit down and work out the hours that we've spent with the client and what they've achieved throughout the year and the end result, to put a dollar value on that is always hard. The fee-for-service scenario in WA hasn't really sort of taken off. There are independent agronomists around which do fee-for-service, but in terms of the corporate, Landmark and other companies, it's probably something that will come in sooner than later, I think, just to sort of identify the value of the service to the client. With my role as a sales agronomist, always talking to other guys in the shop in terms of on-road sales and merch manager, obviously being on farm with clients in terms of cross-selling, always looking for an opportunity to, whether it be livestock insurance, fertiliser, just to see where there's an opportunity to see what Landmark can do for the client. With my role as a senior agronomist, I also work with another senior agronomist, and in terms of graduate agronomists, because we're a larger branch, we take a positive approach in taking on a graduate agronomist. We had one for the last 2 years. He's now moved on to another area, but we just found this is a good grounding for someone starting off in the agronomy role. We just find this guy spent 2 years with us at the branch. At the start, he was sort of very green to the role and just learning the tricks of the trade, I suppose, and dealing with clients and how you sort of, in terms of recommendations, and sort of finding out what the client needs and what sort of result he wants, and working with them in partnership. So that's a pretty important role as an agronomist. Fertiliser in WA has changed quite dramatically in the last 6 to 12 months. Landmark WA has had the partnership with CSBP for the last 100 odd years, and from now on, or since September last year, Landmark Fertiliser is now up and going. So in terms of crop nutrition advice, we've had to take on more of a role. Before, we used to work in partnership with a CSBP sales manager, but now we've evolved our own nutrition software, soil and plant analysis kits, and we've got an app also for soil testing to record data and nutrition data. And WA has also set up their own soil and plant testing lab, which samples are now going through. So the first 12 months will be interesting in terms of how it's going to get up and going, but so far there's samples going through the lab and they're all coming back pretty positive. So this is a new challenge for WA agronomists, which we've taken up, and a lot of growers have sort of welcomed it in terms of another player in the marketplace, and it's definitely made other companies stand up and take notice of Landmark as a fertiliser supply company.